arena has 16,000 seats, and so they needed quite a bit of parking. And for that parking to sit idle most of the time, except for arena events, didn't make a lot of sense. And so that was kind of where this public-private collaboration came together. Going way back here. Come on. Okay, it's not the one. Now this shows it a little bit. So the existing Haymarket garage sits right about here, right now. That's about 420 stalls. Right here, this parking garage that is going up is going to be over 900 parking stalls. This one is kind of the VIP for the arena. That's going to be over 250 stalls. This District Energy Corp, which is was built to heat and cool the arena, we can leverage off of this to heat and cool all of our projects. Around that District Energy Corp is going to be another 700 some odd parking stalls. There'll be another parking garage that'll sit on the end of this block, and there's another 550 parking stalls that are underway right now where there's a tower crane. So that's crazy. We've had more tower cranes here in Lincoln recently per capita than Dubai. I mean, it is nuts. When I was here in school, it was a lot sleepier community. And it's fun because I got to climb up a couple of the tower cranes. They don't have a bathroom though at the top of them. So, just made sure I didn't drink too much coffee before I headed up. So, you know, we're keeping. We're really sensitive to the historic Haymarket. We want to be able to enhance it, and to be able to kind of take on a good 6 blocks that just get added to our downtown and added to the university is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This isn't the only project we have going. We've kind of created a niche of public-private collaboration. We did the hospital down in Beatrice, and so we have probably about 75 acres around it that we hope with the hospital, bringing in all the infrastructure, we can attract some light manufacturing, some services, and again create more jobs and more opportunity for Beatrice. We did a project in Waverly. If you drive by Waverly, first to exit into Lincoln, it's a Tractor Supply distribution facility, and NBA Smart Chicken, and Watts Electric is out there. That's kind of a good example too, where it was an opportunity. And you know, I'd say from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you want to educate yourself as much as possible. Get in, get your hands dirty as much as possible, and put yourself in a position when the right opportunity comes right across your face that you can reach out and grab onto it. And Tractor Supply is a really good example. They had looked from the corporate standpoint. It's about a 450,000 square foot distribution facility. And coming out of Nashville, they kind of looked at a map and said, this is where we need to be. And the closest kind of city was Lincoln. And Lincoln had nothing that was shovel ready. And Lincoln, kind of like, I grew up close to Boulder, and I liken it in a lot of ways where it's really tough to get things done in Lincoln. Being a master plan community, it's not anti-growth, but it's challenging because you really got to work hard to get through a lot of the red tape. But we knew they were looking. There wasn't an opportunity in kind of the Lincoln jurisdiction, so we looked at a map, went right outside the 3-mile jurisdiction of Lincoln, and sat down with the little town of Waverly and said, hey, here's a real neat opportunity. Can we put this together? And in 8 months, we had from farm ground to site ready, under construction, added, you know, well over probably 150 to 200 jobs to that market. So for a town of 2,800, that's a huge shot in the arm to a community like that. Other stuff we've done, Wesleyan, we took on there's an old switching station where the telephone lines, they used to do the kind of the plug-in that you see on like Mayberry on geez, what is that? Sheriff Andy Taylor. And,
we used to watch that. I don't know if they
yes.
have.
But we took that building and put Northeast Police Station team in that, and then we did a commercial project, attracted a Northeast town business to the new project, and we use the community space in the police station for neighborhood meetings. The Northeast High goes and has their their potlucks before sporting events there. A real great addition to that little neighborhood, and hopefully transition Unite Place. Other stuff, the Greyhound bus terminal downtown, we turned that around. P Street, that's a really good example. For all of you kind of look at P Street now as a pretty active place. That's kind of call it the marketplace. We started early, probably about 2003, 2004, assembling one building per block so we could transition that. There were a lot of vacant storefronts. And started by going to Boulder and grabbing Noodles and saying, hey, you got to come look at this. We think it's somewhere you'd have an interest. It's one of their best stores now. We wanted to do a lot of boutique retail. That was kind of the goal. Unfortunately, the market was soft, so the fast casuals were the ones that ultimately could pay the rents. So we brought in Qdoba, Chipotle, Red Mango, Wahoo Fish Taco, Panera, and kind of, again, put those in. But it's something that it's operated as almost the DMZ. Other than college students going through it to get to O Street, to the bars, now students come out to eat, and downtown, kind of people that are working downtown kind of go to P Street to grab lunch or dinner as well. So those are a few of the projects that we have worked on where there's kind of a public-private component. But every single one of them, we try to look for the need and then figure out how best to place that need and try to take as much risk out as we can by putting the deal together on the front end without having to sign our rear ends on a hefty note before we have it all put together. So, what other questions? Glad nobody's sleeping.
Are you going to be doing a lot of renovating of like the old Haymarket buildings?
So we've done a lot of renovation on buildings in the past. We actually we're probably the largest green developer in the state. We did a LEED Platinum project, which is, if you all know where Red 9 is, across the street to the west. We did a LEED Platinum project in the second oldest building in the Haymarket, and there's nothing like it in the country. So we've done Bread and Cup. That's where our offices are, that building. I don't know if you've been to Bread and Cup. We renovated that. We kicked off that entire block as well. So we've done quite a bit of historic renovation. It's a challenge, but the good part is other incentives, TIF and historic tax credits, new market tax credits. I mean, a lot of those things kind of close the gap where otherwise the economy doesn't allow projects to happen because of that front end cost. We've been able to close the gap to get them to go. Yes?
So as far as the rail yard, are you guys finding that you're marketing towards the same crowd that's going to be downtown? Or are you how are you differentiating the rail yard from?
Yes, and so the branding piece, and I'm sure Brett actually, who presented before and touched more on this, and I think Brooke will probably focus on that part a little bit more as well, who I think is coming at probably 3:30. The branding piece is very, very, very important. We wanted to figure out who we wanted to attract, and it's kind of all about her. That's basically how we're looking at this project. And if we can make it comfortable from kind of college age up through women in their 40s, where they feel safe, they have an interest in going. There are things that they want to do in that general vicinity. The guys will follow. But with every single bit of this, I kind of think, gosh, would my grandmother feel safe down here? Would it be easy for her to get around? Parking, I mean, how hard is it to park? It's funny because their parking garages, a lot of people, especially outstate, are afraid of parking in a parking garage. And they're like, geez, I'll go to South Point, I'll park at South Point. Well, you're walking a lot further when you're at South Point than you are when you park here. And other things that we've tried to champion that will help our community, parking. It used to be run by the police department. So it kind of had this, it's a horrible word, kind of this just Nazi kind of, it was all about give as many tickets as you can, chase everybody out of downtown so we don't have to worry about, anything. We've got that transitioned into urban development. So now it's still a city agency, but it's now an economic development tool. And so the parking garages, the first hour is free. I'm pushing for the first 2 hours to be free. But it makes it a lot more convenient to come down here. So you spend an evening, you park the first hour's free, so you stay there 3 hours and you end up, it costs you $3 or $4 to park in a parking garage. So I would say there's a lot of little things that have gone into this that we hope will make it a lot more attractive for everyone to come and enjoy. Yes?
How is the city compensating you for you guys basically making the parking garage useful year-round?
That's a really good question. It is, we're kind of holding hands on it in a sense. Parking garage is funded by the city. It's actually the joint public agency, which is the university in the city of Lincoln. Parking garages do not make economic sense to try to build and run and make money on a parking garage is difficult. So it makes a lot of sense for the city to do it because they don't have the return component. They, you know, if it breaks even for the city, it's a really good thing. Here, they need it for events. So evenings and weekends, that's when events are primarily held. We need it for office people during the day, you know, for hotel guests in the evenings, but they're able to kind of cross-market and oversell it in a sense and keep it a lot more vibrant, so it generates a lot more revenue to help pay off the bonds. That makes sense. So it's a way to, again, collaborate. If this was built out in suburbia, they have to put up a ton of parking around it. That parking is going to be used for absolutely nothing, you know, the majority of the time. But in an urban setting, this helps already a Haymarket that struggles from a parking standpoint. It provides a heck of a lot more parking and serves the needs of the arena, and then, again, a lot of the new stuff that we'll be able to do.
So do you have your hands in any of that, in the parking stuff, or are you just letting the city handle that?
So, no, we're heavily involved in the entire process. So,
Okay.
so literally, we went out, I talked to every Kiwanis and church group and whoever about this when the bond issue was out to vote on the arena itself. And with that, the parking was a real significant part. So in the design of the garages, the location of the garages, I know more about garages than I ever wanted to. Double helix, all, you know, the parking ratios, the cost per stall. We located the garages on the back side here because the rail yard is still, you know, the new rail yard, they condensed it and just pushed it further west. So to screen all the noise and kind of screeching wheels and all that stuff, we loaded the parking garages there. And then the 4-lane backbone roadway is right behind it. So we're able to park those garages without running a lot of traffic through these side streets, which we want much more of a neighborhood feel. District Energy, that was again really interesting, locating the District Energy plant. The proximity to kind of, you know, its customers or who would be utilizing it, the cost goes up substantially the further you have to run the lines. So what we try to figure out is where is the best location for the District Energy Corp to serve the arena the best it could and also service everything around it. So we're able to drop that right in the middle, and then we can hide it with a kind of a C-shaped parking around it. Back in the back, yeah.
When will all that be completely done?
So completely done. You know, we're way ahead of the game. We'd originally thought we would try to get the adjacent building to the arena. The arena's opening in September, or the first events are early September. This will be open in August for students to start moving in. This will be done August or September. So first football game I think is 31st. So that's kind of what we're shooting for right now. So this will, the exterior will be complete, and the hope is the hotel's open before state basketball, which is March. So I think we're shooting for March of 14. So our goal was to get really this full block and a half done by the time the arena opened, which is, the tenants, these two, Hero and Mello, are going to be moving in April to start their build out. So literally, you know,
A few months.
a couple months. That is soon. Yes?
Will the pricing of the bars and the parking and everything be comparable to how the Haymarket is now? Or?
You know, for new construction, pricing is going to be up a little bit. Parking will be relatively the same. Parking is driven by demand. So the 14th and the garage on 14th and O, that's probably the priciest at about $85 a month. There's some that are $65 a month, so we'll probably be in the $65 to $70. But from an hourly standpoint, very much the same.
What about the square?
Sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
What's available for retail that's left, or have you filled all the retail?
We have not filled all the retail, and we're trying to be strategic to get enough of it going, but then, you know, this is, the other thing is, because it's a capital city, this is the state's project. And we're well aware of that. We have one chance to do it. We want to make sure we do it right. So we want it to morph into what Lincoln and the state really wants it to be. So we still have, we have a good part of this, the retail put together on this piece. Here we only have about 6,000 facing this way, and then it's a lot of hotel. We have about a third of that put together. Then we're probably about, I would say 50 to 75% done on the yard. The best part is though, summer of 14, we start on this block.